I've been pretty much all around Australia. Take my word for it. The best way to see this country is by car. There's just so many little hidden secrets and pockets of paradise you miss if you try to do it all by bus or train or simply jetting between the major cities. My memories of road tripping Australia are, for the most part, positive. Sure, there's been some ups and downs along the way, but that's life, isn't it? You just keep moving forward. And that's what I did. There is one notable stopover that still stands out though. An event which very nearly convinced me to pack in my adventurous spirit for good. I'll recount this as best I can. It was sometime around late September, a few years ago now, and I was headed from Baraji Bay up to Narooma. It's a gorgeous coastal drive for the most part, aside from a little detour inland as you pass by Wallaga Lake. The best part of road tripping is the impulsivity, especially when you're driving a fully equipped camper van like I was. You can pull in just about anywhere for a break, as long as the area that you're pulling up at isn't illegal for camping and whatnot. And that's what I did. As I came around the bending roads of that beautiful lakeside drive, I found this picture-perfect spot to camp out for the night. Remote, peaceful, just the way I liked it. I set up my camp, got a hot pot of coffee going and kicked back in the deck chair, soaking up the sun. I got there right on sunset, so it was absolutely ideal. September can be a little warmer, but in the early mornings and creeping into the evenings that time of year, you won't find better weather down under. I was gazing out over those crystal clear blue waters when I heard someone speak.
Angwaranani.
Needless to say, this startled me. There was no one around. Well, there certainly had not been a moment ago anyway.
Angwaranani.
Again, that same voice. That's when I realized there was no one around. I was hearing this voice reverberating through my own head. Jesus, I must be out of it, I thought. It had been a long drive.
Angwaranani.
Louder this time, sending shockwaves through my head. Every time it spoke out, it was like the kick of a bass drum. It hurt. And this is when shit got real bizarre. 3 kids, out of nowhere, came tearing out of the bush, breaking the tree line right behind my camper. They were shouting at me and pointing to the road, screaming, "Go, go, leave now." They were Indigenous kids. Don't get the wrong idea. I don't mean some stereotypical image of Indigenous Australian tribes living deep in the bush. They were just some local kids from a nearby camp. They sure seemed to know something I didn't though, and it didn't sound good. I decided that I had best heed their advice. This, coupled with that weird voice, was giving me a bad feeling. I packed up my stuff and I scrambled back inside my camper. I strapped into the driver's seat, turned the engine over, and flicked on the high beams. As I did so, the yellow beams of light shot straight into the dark bushland ahead. and illuminated something massive. It was huge, 12 feet at the bare minimum. It had an almost spider-like appearance. Its arms and legs stuck straight out to the sides. Its face was pale white. I'm sure you're familiar with the Slender Man, right? The face on this thing was like him, but with a nasty scowl. His eyes beady and shimmering. And its body, it was like this shadowy, globby mass. In my head, that same voice from before. But it said nothing, just a low growl. The kids started bashing and kicking my camper. But not like they meant me harm or anything, like they were urging me to leave. They screamed something out at me, a word I'll never forget. Dulagal, Dulagal, they shouted, over and over. Again, that voice from before, but much louder this time.
Angwarananyi.
I watched as this thing slowly, yet deliberately, pivoted on its right foot and then began walking sideways towards my car. No, really, as bizarre as that sounds, it just kind of toppled from one stumpy leg to the other, blundering sideways towards my van. All the while, that pale white face was fixed on me, its angry expression contorting further and further as it got closer. That was it. I was out. I stepped on the pedal and I floored it off down the highway. As I sped off down the road, I caught glimpses of this thing in my rearview mirror, wobbling sideways, step by step down the highway, following my car. Thankfully, it did not appear capable of picking up the kind of speed necessary to close the gap. I watched as it slowly disappeared into the darkness of the night. That was my first and last time to have ever witnessed anything in my travels that I would call otherworldly. I did not need to look very far for answers as to what I bore witness to that dark September night. A simple search for a single word that those kids had shouted at me would turn up everything I needed to know. Dulagal. As I read the words from Google's top result, the horror that I had encountered that night all fell into place. The Dulagal is a large, spider-like creature of Aboriginal dreamings. It is said to have bright, shimmering eyes, and it stalks Mount Gulaga. It is said that on dark nights, one might catch a glimpse of him walking sideways across the plains. Where I was camped was a straight shot south from Mount Gulaga, so it fits. Why this thing was down by the lakeside when he's said to stalk the mountain, I don't know. Maybe he sees all that land surrounding the mountain as his territory. Or maybe he was on the hunt. I have no idea. The search did lead me to look into another phrase which I heard that night. The words which reverberated inside my mind over and over. This is of the Gunayandi language, and it very loosely translates into "please, go." What I can't figure out is whether this voice in my head was that Dulagal or something else. A protector spirit, perhaps. This Dulagal thing, it did not appear to have my best interests at heart. No, more than that. Everything about its demeanor that night looked as though it meant me harm. The actions of the kids, too. They were frantically urging me to get out of there. Like they knew if I stayed there, something bad was going to happen. If it weren't for them, maybe it would have. But no, I don't think it was that Dulagal talking to me that night. He would have been quite happy to sneak right up on me. Still to this day, I can't shake the image of that awkward, sideways walk as he lumbered out from within those trees.